Defiant nuns fled their elderly care home facility to return to their convent in the Alps. A doctor left in the middle of surgery to have sex with a nurse, and a man's emotional support alligator is no longer allowed into Walmart. These are the weird stories on Weird AF News, the only daily weird news podcast in existence that's hosted by a comedian inside a closet. It's quiet. It's nice. Defiant nuns fled their elderly care facility to return to their convent in the Alps. 3 Austrian nuns who are in their 80s have run away from a retirement home. Nuns on the run. Nuns on the run. How exciting. Let's find out why these nuns fled the facility. Perhaps they just needed a change of habit. They probably felt cloistered in that retirement facility. Come on, guys, the puns. They're award-winning. Let's get into the lives of these sisters and their names. 88-year-old Sister Bernadette. Bernadette! We also have Sister Regina, who's 86, and Sister Rita, age 82. They are the last 3 nuns at a place called the Kloster Goldenstein Convent in Elsbethen, which is just outside Salzburg. This was the convent that they were removed from and placed in a retirement home. They've regained access to the convent with the help of former students and a locksmith. Well, they locked out these nuns. Why didn't you want the nuns in the convent? What were they doing? Partying it up? These nuns, they like to rage. What can you say? The trio were taken out of the convent against their will, they say. They're much happier back at the convent. Here's a quote from Sister Rita. I am so pleased to be home. I was always homesick at the care home. I am so happy and thankful to be back to the convent in Salzburg. I'm just trying to do an Austrian accent, guys. I think I nailed it. You do an Austrian accent of an 88-year-old nun. We'll see what you come up with. Do you think it's going to be better than mine? Psst, this is why I get paid the big bucks. I'll have you know, I make $5.4 thousand per year doing this. So, stay in your lane, listener, is all I'm saying. These 3 nuns, let's learn a little bit about them. They've spent much of their lives at the Schloss Goldenstein. There's a castle. Ooh, there's a picture of it. It's a nice big castle. Looks like fun. Have some castle orgies with the clergy in there. I'm kidding. They don't do. Well, they actually do that. I've covered some stories, but they probably didn't do that at this one in Salzburg. The castle has been a convent and a private girls' school since 1877. The school started accepting boys in 2017 for a little extra fun, and it's still functioning. Sister Bernadette! She attended the school herself, arriving as a teenager in 1948. One of her fellow students was the Austrian film actress Romy Schneider. Wow, a lot of this information they're providing really isn't pertinent to the story. Sister Regina arrived at the convent in 1958, and Sister Rita 4 years later. All 3 went on to work at the school as teachers for many years. Sister Regina actually was the head mistress. That means she loved Jesus the most, I think. The numbers of nuns dwindled over the years, as you can imagine. In 2022, the building was taken over by the Archdiocese of Salzburg and something else called the Reichsburg Abbey. Sounds like a fun place. The community was officially dissolved at the beginning of 2024, and the remaining nuns were granted lifelong right of residence as long as their health and mental capacity allowed. Well, then why did you kick the 3 sisters out and put them in a retirement home? There's a photo here of Sister Bernadette, and she looks very happily. She's serving plum dumplings to Sister Rita. They're happy to have their plum dumplings. Looks like they're drinking coffee. Sounds like some girls I could chill with. Now, it turns out in December 2023, this is when crap went downhill for these ladies. The decision was made to transfer them to a Catholic care home where they were unhappy. At the beginning of September, Sister Bernadette, Sister Rita, and Sister Regina moved back to the convent, helped by a group of former students. Well, they smuggled them. They were acting as nun smugglers, and they smuggled them all the way back to the convent with a little Underground Railroad action, I'd imagine. Get these nuns back to the convent. Wow, this is a story that I think would make a great movie. Does anyone else agree with me? Nuns on the Run. I don't know what you would call it. Oh, I just looked up Nuns on the Run is already used. It's a movie from 1990 starring Eric Idle. It's actually it looks like 2 dudes dressed as nuns to, I don't know, commit crimes or something, so we can't use that. But can't you imagine a zany nun road trip comedy starring Melissa McCarthy? Call it like Fast and Pious, Vatican Drift. I mean, come on, that's perfect. Old habits die hard. Fast and pious. All right, it says when the sisters got back to the convent, the locks to their former apartments had been changed, so they had to call a locksmith and break in. When they first arrived, there was no electricity or water. Oh no, the poor nuns, no electricity. In a statement, the provost said the nuns' decision to return to the convent was completely incomprehensible. Wait, why would you say that? It's incomprehensible. You sent them away to a retirement home against their will. Who wants to spend the last breathing days in a retirement home? That is a depressing facility, I'm sure. Why can't the nuns spend the rest of their life doing what they want to do, just prancing through the garden at the convent, eating dumplings, drinking Guinness? I don't know what they're into. I'm sure there's pickleball involved. Nuns playing pickleball. Can you picture it? How funny of a vision that is. This unempathetic, dastardly provost went on to say that the nuns' quote, precarious health conditions meant that independent living at the convent was no longer possible. I mean, but how independent is it? You're in a convent. There's other people there. There's other nuns there. There were students that let them in. So there must be helpers for them. And if not, you could just hire a nurse or somebody to give them some care and assistance and monitor their daily ongoings. I mean, you were going to pay money to put them in a retirement home anyways. It costs money for such things. Just leave them in the convent. Hire somebody. What's wrong with you? Well, luckily, these three badass bitches are settling back into their former home after escaping the retirement home. I love that they did that. I support that. Is there a GoFundMe for these ladies? Electricity and water have now been partially restored. Supporters are bringing food and groceries to the ladies, and they have been seen by doctors. Great, great. There's a steady stream of visitors, many of whom are their former students visiting the nurses. One of them, Sophie, said the nuns belong at the convent. She says Goldenstein without the nuns is just not possible. When they need us, they just have to call us, and we will be there for them, for sure. The nuns here changed so many lives in such a good way. Another student said the nuns always recognized old pupils. Videos of the nuns have been posted on Instagram, at prayer, at mass, at lunch, and climbing down the steep staircase. Also singing Beastie Boys at the karaoke parties. I made up that last one, but wouldn't you just love to see three nuns belt out Sabotage? Wouldn't that be amazing? With those accents, yeah. I can't stand it. I know you planned it. I'ma set this straight, this Watergate. All right, I'm getting silly. I need to wrap this up. We're over 7 minutes on the first story about the nuns, but it's a feel-good story, isn't it? Which is great. A lot of Weird AF News segments involve people doing dumb things. These nuns are an inspiration to us all. The nuns say they are determined to stay at the convent despite what their big bosses say. Here's a quote to end the segment, fittingly, by Sister Bernadette. She says, "Before I die in that old people's home, I would rather go to a meadow and enter eternity that way." A doctor left in the middle of surgery to have intercourse with a nurse. That's right. As shocking as it sounds, it's true. Apparently, an anesthesiologist left in the middle of surgery to have sex with a nurse in another operating room. Wow, they just don't give a damn over there at the hospital, do they? They're all boinking each other at the hospitals, right? They're boinking each other at the hospitals like they do in restaurants. Everybody's boinking each other. All the employees at restaurants and hospitals just boinking each other. If you didn't know, now you know. Which on some level makes this not really that weird of a news, but the fact that he did it during an operation in the middle of surgery, that's kind of weird. What's this grimy doctor's name? Can't control himself. Dr. Suhail Anjem, age 44, and the unidentified nurse were caught in a very, quote, compromising position by a colleague at the Tameside Hospital in Manchester, UK. Tameside, that's funny. If this is what's happening at Tameside, I'd like to know what's going on at Crazyside Hospital, huh? Hey, boinking the patients while they're under? The story says that Dr. Anjem needed to take a, quote, comfort break. Oh, yeah, that's a comfort break if I've ever heard of one. A little too comfortable. He asked another colleague to monitor the patient halfway through the operation. I love that he's an anesthesiologist and left. Like, what if the patient wakes up but you're not there because you're boinking somebody in another operating room? Are you okay? I know I keep saying boinking, but it's a funny word. Another funny word for making love is stupping. I was stupping her in another operating room. I was stupping. We'll use that one for a little bit of a break. The patient was undergoing something called gallbladder removal surgery. Sounds important. Probably want your anesthesiologist not to be stupping a nurse in the next room during your bladder removal surgery. The gallbladder, that is. Another one nurse went to look for equipment to prepare for the next procedure when she discovered the doctor and the unidentified nurse. After being gone with the nurse a total of 8 minutes. 8 minutes, Dr. Anjum? Well, look at you, regular porn star over there, lasting 8 minutes. Anjum returned to the operating room and completed his work in the anesthesiology department. Anjum didn't deny the accusations and the evidence that were brought against him. He said that though his behavior was pretty inexcusable, he and his wife had been having issues since their daughter was born prematurely and was going through a stressful time. What? But did you just say your wife just had a premature baby and so going through a stressful time, so you just cheated on her? Is that how it went? Wow, doctors, they all have like a god complex. They think they can do whatever they want in the world because so many people look up to them and they give them huge paychecks. It really goes to their heads in the wrong manner, in my opinion. Sometimes I just think men will do anything except for go to therapy. Isn't that sad? Now, what's next for the doctor that can't keep it in his pants at the workplace? Well, he's got a hearing coming up. Oh, he's got a hearing. In other news, a doctor left the courtroom to boink a juror. Just kidding. It's not that kind of hearing. It's going to be in front of the medical board. They're going to hear some testimony and decide whether or not Dr. Anjum is fit to continue practicing medicine. And being that there is a overall shortage of doctors these days, I don't know if you read that data, but they'll more than likely give him a second chance, I'd imagine. Being that this story went viral, though, I'd imagine his wife is going to know about this or already knows about it, or he better hope Coldplay doesn't come to town.
The spirit of innovation is deeply ingrained in America, and Google is helping Americans innovate in ways both big and small. From improving emergency response times to protecting against cyber attacks, local, state, and federal governments are innovating with Google AI. This is a new era of American innovation. Find out more at g.co/American innovation.
An emotional support alligator is no longer welcome at a Walmart. This story is out of Western Pennsylvania. A very disappointed man and his emotional support alligator took a shopping cart spin around the local Walmart where he claims they've never had a problem before. However, his recent trip earned him orders to stay away from the Walmart with his emotional support beast. Oh, that's a disappointment. You know, in Florida, there'd be no problem. In Florida, the alligators are actually greeters at the Walmart, so they're everywhere. Alligators are everywhere. I wrote a song about it. You know, you've heard it. Now, this gentleman that needs the support and has found it in his 5-foot-long, 32-pound reptile is named Wesley Silva. He's 60. His alligator's name is Jinseoshi. Jinseoshi? What a very, very voluptuous name for an alligator. You'd think he'd keep it simple, like, this is my alligator, Seth. You know, something like that. No, he's going Jinseoshi. I can't even say it. He made the local news, though, Wesley and his emotional support alligator, after a trip to a Walmart in a place called West Brownsville, where he pushed the alligator around in a shopping cart as she was wearing a dress. Oh, and everybody got angry. She had a dress on. That's more clothing than most people in Walmart. How dare you kick out Wesley and Jinseoshi. I think I got it. Now, here's a photo of Wesley with his beautiful gator. Look, she's wearing a fur coat. Unbelievable. She dresses better than I do. Here's a quote from Wesley regarding their recent visit. He said, before that, we'd been going to the Walmart for about 3 years, and normally the reaction is, that's pretty cool, or that is awesome that you have a pet alligator. I think Wesley left out some of the other more alarmed responses. Some people in Pennsylvania not used to seeing an alligator at a Walmart. I'm sure people freaked out, but you can leave those quotes out, Wesley. They don't help your case anyways. But I'm sure some people were like, that's my leg, man. That's my leg. Your emotional support alligator's got my leg, sir. Now enter a Walmart spokesperson. You can imagine they're not going to be very empathetic to Wesley and Shashoshi. The Walmart spokesperson, far less effusive, said that Jenshoshi, the alligator, and any other gators aren't welcome inside their stores. Here's a quote. The safety of our customers and associates is our highest priority, don't you know? We welcome service animals in our stores, but it's unacceptable to expose members of the public to any what we would call potential dangers. Wesley said he got the alligator from a neighbor who couldn't care for it anymore and gave it to him. What, people just in Pennsylvania just got alligator pets everywhere? This is news to me. Pennsylvania's like the Florida of the Northeast, it would seem, right? It says here, Jen Jashoshi spends much of her days in a pool outside and at night in a bathtub of water. Wow, she's really got a good deal going over here. She's just living the spa life. Wesley's just spoiling her. Before she arrived, Wesley already had a zoo's worth of reptiles in his animal family, including 6 snakes, a leopard gecko, a Komodo dragon. A Komodo dragon? How do you just have a Komodo dragon, Wesley? I think that's highly illegal. They also had an ocellated skink. Skink? Do you mean skunk? It says ocellated skink. I don't know what that is. Also a second alligator. So many gators. Alligators everywhere. He also has a dog. Oh, that's lovely. Maybe take the dog to Walmart from now on and lay off the gator. Definitely don't take the Komodo dragon anywhere in public because I think you'll go to jail. Wesley's a good guy overall. It says he's a pastor at a Baptist church and a Brethren church. He called his worship of reptiles a holy act and laughed. He's got a good sense of humor, too. Yeah, he looks happy. He's getting some enjoyment out of his beasts. He just, maybe not take them out into certain places in public. I'm sure some places of businesses aren't going to allow it and others will. You just got to experiment and see where it's acceptable to bring your girl I mean, I don't understand what the Walmart situation is. I mean, compared to the animals that you see walking around on 2 legs in there, I don't think the alligator's such a fuss. But that's just me. I've done many stories on emotional support animals and how ridiculous they are. It's usually somebody who just wants attention. But, I'm at the point now where it's just, the world is effed up. Hang out with whatever the hell you want to hang out with all day if you need to. I mean, just get through it, right? It's difficult. We're all just dealing.
Learning through play starts with Lego Duplo. With Lego Duplo, toddlers can develop real-life skills while having fun with colorful bricks made just for them. Large, easy to grip, and safe to explore. When children express themselves with Lego Duplo, they build patience, problem-solving, and empathy. See your child learn perseverance and self-expression with everything they imagine and create. Visit lego.com/preschool to learn more.
Hey, my friends and loyal listeners of the Weird AF News Podcast. Thanks for spending some time with your buddy Jonesy in the closet. I'm back in the closet in California. You might notice a higher quality sound to this episode because I'm back in my little padded cell with my very nice quality microphone. Thanks for dealing with me as I traveled on the East Coast and had some technical issues with the show, but we're back on track now. So thanks to everybody who reached out to me and told me that my microphone was acceptable and just checking in on me overall. It's really nice to feel the love and support. I so appreciate that. I hope you had a great weekend. I enjoyed the football. That's what I really enjoyed. Week 2, good times. Shout out to the patrons who are in the midst of our fantasy football league. Looks like I'm going to lose this game. I won the first one, but I'm probably going to lose this week. So I'll be at 500. There's a lot of good teams in there, a lot of good owners, and we're having a good time. So if you guys would like to join the Patreon and hang out with us, we're very cool people. So you can do that by going to patreon.com/weirdafnews, joining the Patreon, or go to weirdafnews.com, become a member. Enjoy the extra weird content in there, including bonus episodes and such things. You can support the show by going to weirdafnews.com and other ways as well. And then there's ways where you don't have to go anywhere. You could just tell a friend about Weird AF News. That would be lovely and so appreciated. Thank you so much. If you want to reach out to me, the email's funnyjones@gmail.com, and my Instagram is @funnyjones. So you can slide into my DMs. If you do so, please introduce yourself. Tell me where you live. Tell me what you like. Say hello. I love to meet listeners. And I appreciate you all. I'll let you go. And good luck with your life, man.